So on the last video, I showed you how to sort your expenses by category. So you should have your expense tracker looking something like this. All of your categories grouped together. And so now we're going to come back to our application activity and we will download a budget template. And so the budget template, you should be able to click right on this link and it should automatically download. If that doesn't work, let me know, but you should have no problem with that. And then again, please do not turn in the budget template and do not turn in your expense tracker. The only thing you're turning in is this template, and you're answering these questions. So that's the only thing you'll turn in this week. These other things are just for your reference so that you can actually answer the questions. So once you downloaded the budget template, you're going to come to, it looks like this. So you'll have this budget template and you'll put the start and end date. So my suggestion would be to start in December because we're already partially through the month of November, but you're going to be setting up a monthly budget starting, I would say start in December, but you can really choose whatever time you would like to do. Perhaps you get paid on a specific day of the month and you would like to start and end on the date of your paycheck. So that's really up to you the way you would like to do that. And so in column A, starting row 10, you're going to list all the income sources for the coming month. And so this would, according to, we can come back and look at our expense tracker, look at our income. According to this, we have a fixed income. We get a salaried check of $16.30 every month. And so I'm going to put paycheck in here. The expected amount is $16.30. We also will have a bonus, and that is variable. It comes in different every month, but this next month we expect $300, so we'll put that $300 in from our expected income. And so in column B, we give the estimate of money. We just did that. And now we're going to consider the expense categories in column D and the categories we use in our expense tracker. And this is going to look different for everybody. And on a side note, for those of you that may not have an income or still live with your parents possibly, and your expenses don't look anything like this, please just do the best you can. Possibly you get an allowance, you get gifts from somebody, or somehow you probably make some money, whether it's spending money, but just do the best you can. If you absolutely have no money that you make, then work with your parents and have them help you, and possibly they could let you use their data and you could work with them that way. If you have any problems or questions, just let me know. So now what you'll do is come to your expense tracker. You'll look at what categories that you have used, and then you're going to put those categories into this document. And so these may look different for you, or they may look very similar, but you'll just change this and put your own categories. Let's say we do rent, we have a car payment, nope, it's auto loan, so there is a car payment. Again, I'm looking off of the sample. Insurance, there is insurance. So you'll just come through and decide, whether this is fixed or variable, and use your own categories. And so fixed means that it's the same every single month, that payment is always the same. Generally, that is when you take out a loan, for example, your rent, or mortgage, a car payment, insurance is something that you've signed a contract for, is generally fixed. And then variable is something that changes every month, groceries, eating out, those type of things. So you'll decide, list all your categories that you have in your expense tracker, and then decide whether they're fixed or variable. And then in the budgeted amount, you'll come back here and you'll say, this is how much I spent on entertainment. And a really quick way to do that is, I would start in this, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put actual amount. This is how much I actually spent, and I'm going to make another column called budget amount, and I'll show you why. So in entertainment, I'm going to come to this, we'll start at auto loan. Auto loan, or actual amount, is the same. I'm going to do auto sum, and then I want this category, I want this number right here. This is how much I will spend on my auto loan. And I'll show you a quick eating out, we just have one expense. I'll do auto sum. And then the reason I'm using auto sum, I'll show you now, because here again, I'm going to click on auto sum. And then I want the sum of all of the money I spent on entertainment. And then I click enter. And this means $16.90 is how much I spent on entertainment. So come down here to fuel. I click on this cell, on this fuel cell tab, I'm sorry, row, and then click on auto sum. And now I'm going to come over here and just sum up how much money I spent on fuel. Whoops. And same with groceries. Some of these aren't not a big deal because it's just one number. And again, this is a small expense tracker. Yours might be much bigger, yours might be much smaller. But this just might make it easier for you. It's not necessary. I'm just hoping it makes it a little bit easier. So under groceries, I will click on this cell under actual amount, click on auto sum, and then I'm going to sum, just click and drag on all of these amounts, and I get the total for my groceries. And so the reason you'll do that is because once you have your expenses, then you're going to need to set your budget, and you'll do that by looking at the amounts that you set right here. Let's say now you know that you have spent this month $377. You want your budget to actually be $350. On fuel, you spent $32 this month, but you realize that you didn't travel to work for a week, and so generally you would spend $40. And so what you'll do is just look at your actual amounts that you spent for the month, and maybe I'll just finish this so it makes it a little more clear. Whoops, that is one. Home utilities, I have two columns or two rows. Let's skip income. We'll come to insurance, rent, savings, and tithing. These are all the same. So I don't need an auto sum because they're basically, there's just one number there. So then what you'll do is come back over to your your budget, and then you're going to put in here the budgeted amount that you have for each month. And so your budgeted amount for your rent will stay the same. It's $525. That's how much you will always spend for your rent. Your car payment, you come back, over here. You look at your car payment. I think I called it auto loan. If I can find it. It's right there at the top, $75. And you just fill out your budget. This is how you would fill out your budget. Your insurance payment, that would be $32. Tithes and offerings, you have down here $190. Emergency fund, you don't have emergency fund, so you just leave this at 0. And then you go through, do the same thing all the way down, and that's the way you'll fill out your budget. And then next you want to balance your budget. And so in order to make sure your budget is balanced, you'll look up here. You say you'll need to fill the rest of this out, but you'll look up here and see the expected income you should get is $1930, and then your budgeted amount will be right here. Once you fill all this out, it's going to add the total up and be right here. And so you want to make sure that the budgeted amount is less than your expected amount, and in this case, I'm sure it will be. Again, hopefully this is helpful and hasn't confused you more, but if you have any questions, please let me know. And that should be the way you balance your budget, and then you just go through and you answer all the questions. So good luck with this budgeting activity, and again, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.